Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host, Nathan B. Butler, author of A Saga on Home Video. This time we are taking a look at something else that is from outside the US and really kind of outside the typical places I tend to go for Star Wars items for my collection. My collection is mostly from the United States, but I do have some things in here from the UK and Japan, and then every once in a while you'll find something that's just kind of an oddball that doesn't really fit with the rest. Like, I've got a Mexican trilogy of VHS tapes. I've got, let's see, some Malaysian VCDs and stuff like that. Got a Finnish copy of Revenge of the Sith on VHS. So every now and then, some little weird things wind up entering into the mix. And one of the places I've started to gather things from is China, as the president would say. And we looked at those when we looked at those two one-click boxed sets back there from Blue Fans, and how those are kind of the steel books, but it's a special kind of steel book with a special type of packaging. We are going to actually be looking in the near future at the other Blue Fans steelbook for The Force Awakens. They had another, no, there is another, that was not actually the same world exclusive art WEA steelbook, that by nature of being so is not in the one-click set. They got kind of a standalone release that is the same old steelbook art as everywhere else, but a different slipcover that we'll find is an only at Blue Fans or OAB release. But while we're waiting for that to come in the mail, I started to look around for other weird Star Wars releases that are kind of cool, and one of the things that struck me was this set of steelbooks I just kept running into over and over again while I was looking for the Blue Fan stuff. And I had to kind of figure out what's Blue Fans, what's not. Where is this other thing coming from, and what's this other company all about? That other type of Star Wars steelbook that I kept running into was from a company called Novamedia. Novamedia is a big media outlet for selling home video stuff, including some exclusives, in South Korea. All right, so we're now expanding beyond Japan and China when we talk about Asia, and into South Korea as well. And what they had was basically a set of 3 different steelbook releases with different style packaging. Again, a 2 of one kind, 1 of another kind of thing, kind of like with the one-click set there from Blue Fans. Only in this case, not quite as elaborate and sold separately or as a one-click set, but not in any kind of box. The one-click set in this case was just, hey, here's all 3 of them in one purchase, more or less. Now, there is a 4th one that, just like with Blue Fans, is not really part of that group of 3. It's sort of a separate thing, and I have that on the way to me as well. So expect another episode coming up soon for another Blue Fans release, and another one to tie into this episode's releases. But this time, what we want to take a look at are the Novamedia Nova Choice, number 9, exclusives from South Korea for The Force Awakens. Now, once again, just like with Blue Fans, we have ourselves 3 to look at, and this is our first. Now, those cool lenticular covers like Blue Fans tended to do here, and you'll notice, when you look at the side, that it's, one, kind of pretty here, right? Blu-ray symbol, Star Wars slightly embossed with the blade, The Force Awakens slightly embossed running down there, Lucasfilm logo, but then there's a little notation there that says NC009. This and the other ones are Nova Choice number 9. Kind of like we had Blue Fans exclusive BE number whatever. I think it was 40 and 41, if I remember correctly, for The Force Awakens and Rogue One, right? So these exclusives are getting numbered just like they were in China. Novamedia actually has multiple product lines. They have Nova Exclusive, Nova Choice, Nova Amore, whatever that is, Nova Limited, Nova Fortune Star, and Nova Golden Harvest. And the Star Wars ones thus far have been under Nova Choice, or they haven't been Novamedia exclusives per se at all, just releases from South Korea, which is what that next one is we'll take a look at in a future episode when it finally arrives in the mail. But these, all 3 of these types, these are all Nova Choice release number 9. This is known as the lenticular version, unsurprisingly. Cool lenticular cover, right? As I said, Blu-ray, title, slightly embossed Lucasfilm logo, and the number. Same thing actually on the other side for this one, at least. And then on the back, cool shot of the TIE fighters, cast crew info, and then our vital stats here. telling us the different languages. For what it's worth, this is another case where the discs for the Blu-rays are basically identical to the US version or the UK version or the Japanese version or wherever. The only big difference tends to be the language options available. In this case, for the Blu-ray, the regular Blu-ray, the languages available are Korean, Dolby Digital 5.1, English 7.1 DTS HD lossless audio, then Ceski, sure that C-E-S-K-Y, and on the screen it has a little dip over the C, which is 5.1, and Romana 5.1 as well, which I believe is Romanian. And then subtitles, we have Korean, English for the hearing impaired, Ceski, and Romana again. Then for the bonus DVD, the only language option is English 5.1, but there are subtitles in Korean, English for the hearing impaired, Chinese 1, 2, and 3, Thai, Bahasa, Malay, Dansk, Suomi, Norsk, Svenska, and Greek. And then on the DVD, your languages are Korean or English 5.1 or Thai 5.1, so another option there that's not anywhere else. And subtitle-wise is Korean, English, Thai, Bahasa, and Malay. But we're going to find that we're not going to be able to play that DVD in the US, and we'll take a look at why here momentarily. But this breaks that information down here, so if you are someone who's looking at something like a Novamedia release, just know Blu-rays are going to play on the same player as you can play in the US. No need to worry about that. They're not region-locked. They are all region ABC. But at the same time, yes, you are going to have different language options pop up, but don't worry because one of them will be English. You just have other options alongside it. So yes, this works perfectly fine as a US purchase if you're trying to watch on Blu-ray, not on DVD. Alright, so this is a lenticular slipcover that comes on from the top, right? Hence, having both spines as part of the slipcover. That will matter momentarily. Now you notice here that the actual steelbook inside, this should look familiar, right? Characters, no text. This is that WWA Worldwide Art steelbook that we saw in the US, except with text on it, that we saw in the UK like this, that we saw in Japan like this, and it was basically the regular way you could get a steelbook of The Force Awakens. Again, steelbooks oftentimes are exclusive to one retailer in the US or in a particular country, but when you go outside of the country, you'll see those same steelbooks usually from other retailers in other regions. It's a country-by-country kind of exclusivity here. As for what's inside, I made the mistake the first time of just opening it up like this, not realizing what was in it, because there are some loose items on the inside that we will take a look at. Okay, as for the discs, and as for the steelbook itself, pretty much what you would expect. The discs, you have your bonus disc, which pretty much looks like the US one. In fact, nothing really to denote this as South Korean. Same thing here with your film disc. Okay, nothing there denoting anything unusual. Again, you put them in, you're going to see different language options, but just by looking at it, you're not going to see a significant difference. It's the DVD where there's a big difference. This is the South Korean DVD of The Force Awakens. You'll notice there that this one actually has the title up there in Korean. You have your rating there and the little blue dot. That is not a blue sticker, even though you could be forgiven for thinking it is, because it looks like it should be a sticker. Underneath, it's got Dolby Digital, DVD, has your runtime and everything, but there's this little bitty box over here that tells you your region. South Korea is part of Region 3. So this will not play in a US player, just like Japanese and UK DVDs are Region 2, and will not play in a US player because the US is part of Region 1. For those who are curious about that, thinking, what's the deal with the regions? There's only 3 regions for Blu-ray, but for DVD there were 8. 9 if you count Region 0, basically, right? So Region 1 is Canada, US and its territories, Mexico, and Bermuda. Region 2 is Europe, Egypt, West Asia, Japan, South Africa, Greenland, French Guiana. Region 3, like this one, is Southeast Asia, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau. Then Region 4 is Latin America, except French Guiana. So basically Mexico, Belize, Central America, South America, not French Guiana, and Oceania. Oceania, I always have trouble saying that correctly. Then Region 5 is Africa, except Egypt and South Africa, already covered elsewhere, plus Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Central Asia, South Asia, Mongolia, and North Korea. And then Region 6 is mainland China. Region 7 exists, but it's not actually in use for, current regions, basically. Therefore, MPAA-related DVDs and media copies of pre-releases in Asia. Then Region 8 is where international venues like aircraft, cruise ships, actually sending it up into space and stuff like that. And then Region 0, basically, it's technically it's not for any given region. It's got the first 6 regions that actually have countries to them, all available to it. But that also means that if you get a Region 0 disc, you'll have to double check and make sure whether it's NTSC or PAL, because that'll make a difference in whether or not you can play it. And then you can theoretically have a disc that is all region that just has all of them, including the 8th one set. So hey, an all region one can even take you into space. All of that to say, cool to look at, not going to be useful in the US. But hey, speaking of cool to look at, what were those little items that came out of it? Well, one of them is a little booklet, right? BB-8 on the cover. It's a continuation of the image on the back, nothing on the spine. And it's just like a little picture book. Except in this case, the little picture book every so often actually does have text. That's in Korean, for the most part. But in some cases, you do run into ones that are actually in English. So for instance, if I'm looking at the one here with them on Starkiller Base, I can't read any of that. It's all in Korean. But then if I jump to, let's say, this page, it says, "What is the new? Get ready for the rise of a new era. The Star Wars series have made its way of becoming one of the most essential piece in the film industry, from releasing 6 episodes, including Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, that had premiered in 1977, and Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith of 2005. The reason behind the huge anticipation on the Star Wars, which already possesses millions of fans around the world for its twisted stories," I like that, "enormous worldview, and indescribable scale, is that Star Wars The Force Awakens is returning after 10 years with a whole new aspiration of Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy, the producer of Star Wars, succeeded in getting all the attention of the world when she announced her plans to release episodes 8 and 9 along with 2 spin-offs. The first spin-off film, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, is planned to be shown in theaters this winter, followed by Star Wars Episode 8 in 2017 summer. A second spin-off with Han Solo, Harrison Ford, as the leading role in 2018. See, even they didn't want Alden. And Star Wars Episode 9 in 2019, all ready to meet their fans' decades-long yearning for a new era to begin." Yeah, not so much on the translation there. And the rest of the translations for the segments that are actually in English in kind of the back half of the booklet, kind of the same. You get the gist of what they're saying, but the translation, it definitely wasn't done by someone who is fully fluent in English. Close, but not quite. Probably in instances where there just aren't exact translations from certain words from one language to the other. But you got the little picture booklet, bad English aside, and you've got a little package here of other physical goodies. They are packaged together here. It's basically postcards and character cards. I always have a hard time getting my fingers just right to open this sucker up. There we go. Okay. So, inside, they call these postcards. They're not really postcards on the back. Back just has BB-8, says Force Awakens on it. But you have your images with the logo on it. So, you have that one. Und that one. That one. And that one. Interestingly, not the same art, just used over and over again that we've seen elsewhere. And then we have these so-called character cards, all of which have a back that looks a lot like the regular The Force Awakens slipcover in the US. Underneath, you can see that little bit of text there. It's just the copyright date. But we have BB-8, Kylo Ren, Finn, and Rey, which of course you'll notice there are the characters as they appear on those wide character posters like we saw with the Chinese release, except it's just the little part that focuses on their faces, except in the case of BB-8 where it's just a regular shot of BB-8. Now I gotta say that there's something a little weird about these, at least in terms of Novamedia's own publication of numbers, because the Novamedia website says that they only produced 400 of this one. But if you actually look at the back, there's a little sticker here for the limited edition, and it says, it has the Novamedia symbol, and it says NC for Nova Choice 009L, meaning lenticular, limited 800. This says there were 800. The site says there were 400. Is it possible maybe that 400 of those 800 were in the one-click sets, and then the other ones were just sold individually, and that's why they're saying 400 on the website? That I don't know. But this says 800, and this individually numbered in kind of a holographic thing there says number 011. This is a matching set that I have here. All three, number 11 out of however many were produced. So a nice low number for those who care about that sort of thing. I don't really tend to. But this is our lenticular version. There are two more here to take a look at, though. But what we'll find is that the pattern is still 2 of one, 1 of the other, like with China, but not the same 2 of one, 1 or the other. In the blue fan set, we saw there were 2 different lenticular versions, single and double, and then there was a full slip version. So 2 lenticular, 1 not. In this case, it's the opposite. Instead, we've got 2 full slipcover versions, slip A and B, and 1 lenticular, which is the one we just looked at. So that's the only lenticular cover. The other ones just have nice slip covers, which, unlike that one, slip on from the side rather than from the top. This is full slip version A. Okay? Feels a little rough, and then it gets very smooth with the picture. A little bit embossed with the Blu-ray symbol and the title there. Pretty neat. Top, because this one does have a top to show. Star Wars The Force Awakens. Bottom has your stats about the release, plus has our sticker with the limited edition number. Again, kind of confusing what this says versus what the website says. The website for Novamedia says limited to 200 of full slip A. This says 600. It says NC Nova Choice 009 FA, meaning full slipcover A, limited 600, and then has, again, the number 11. So presumably, they really did make 600, not 200 like the website says. Maybe they're being divided up into one-click sets and otherwise. That I don't know. Really kind of strange that they would label it that way. But anyway, to continue. The back of it, cool BB-8 art there. We saw that on some of the blue fan stuff. The spine, because it's a slipcover, it's only going to have one spine that's actually part of the slipcover, right? We have Blu-ray symbol, title there, slightly embossed, Lucasfilm, and again, same NC009 there, though it's hard to see because it's in white on that white blade interior. Now, we look at it from the side and we can see a couple of interesting things right off the bat. One is that there is something packed in behind it. And the other is, wait a second, what is up with that title? The spine on the steelbook says Star Wars The Force Awakens? And it's kind of hard to tell in this light, but it's lenticular. Sometimes it's red and sometimes it's blue. But wait a second, I thought the Worldwide Art Steelbook, the same one we just saw in the lenticular packaging, I thought that had character faces on the side, not the title. You're right. This is a lenticular spine magnet, which is part of the bonus items that come with ordering these through Novamedia. So you can actually put this spine magnet, just a magnet on one side and a lenticular title on the other. You put this on the spine over the pictures if you want it to show the title of the film. Otherwise, it is just a regular steelbook with the pictures. Pretty cool, pretty inventive, though this actually caused an issue for me because getting 3 of these, I was supposed to get 3 of these in the mail. The one that actually comes with this one, because this one actually has a slipcover that shows both sides, comes loose. And when the eBay seller sent it to me, they left that loose one out and had to send it to me as a separate package that actually arrived today, hence finally being able to put the episode together. But just a little weird spine magnet, but the steelbook itself is the same steelbook. So we open it up, nothing else on the inside or anything. We've got our steelbook, again, Worldwide Art Steelbook. Inside, exact same discs and exact same bonus items here. So nothing physically different other than the packaging in this case. And there's our booklet. In the lenticular, the booklet is sat inside the steelbook and closed up along with the postcards and little cards. Just all kind of closed in there, and then with the lenticular slip over top of it. In this case, you don't have to put it in the steelbook. Whoop! See? Magnetized, I'm telling you. You don't put it in the steelbook because you just sit them side by side and slip them into the slip cover. Very nice. And then you just take this, stick it over your spine there, and you are good to go. When you buy this, by the way, the lenticular item is already on it inside the shrink wrap. So that one won't be easy to lose when you purchase it. Lastly, we have what I think is probably the coolest and most unusual art version for Novamedia, and that is Novamedia's full slip B version of the Force Awakens. That is this. I love this packaging here. We have our Millennium Falcon that is somewhat embossed. Again, kind of a rougher, almost sandpapery feel over here, and then very slick when you're actually touching the Falcon itself. Slightly embossed Blu-ray symbol and title. The spine, in this case, Blu-ray, the title, the NC009 number and Lucasfilm logo, but notice no lightsaber this time. It is slightly embossed, though, but it's continuing the image of the Millennium Falcon from the front onto the spine, and then it continues even further onto the back to finish out our picture. Nothing else on the back but the picture itself. In case you're wondering, yes, the TIE Fighter's a little glossy, so is the Millennium Falcon still, just like on the front, and this is the little bit rougher stuff here. The top fits the same color scheme. Bottom, all our stats, same color scheme. This one listed as NC009FB, in full slipcover B, out of, again, 600. But again, the website says 200. Whatever. This says 600, numbered 11. It is a limited edition, though we just have conflicting information on exactly how limited that edition actually was. Once again, while it is in your shrink wrap, when you first get it, it will have this as our spine. Again, that is just a spine magnet. Inside, exact same thing as full slip A. It is our booklet, separate, so it just slides into the slip cover. It is our Worldwide Art steelbook. And inside, yes, all three of the same discs, plus our postcards and cards. So across these three releases, the steelbook is the same, the discs are the same, the booklet's the same, the postcards the same, the little cards are the same. The only difference is what goes around it in the long run. But then there are some other gifts involved if you order the lenticular version, or full slip A, or full slip B, just to remind us of what each one is called. Not only are you going to wind up getting one of these with each one, either inside the shrink wrap for full slip A or B, or separate for the lenticular version that you can stick on the spine to change the faces into a title. You also get what's called a PET slipcover. And that is this. Okay, so I've got 3 of them, thanks to having all 3. They're all identical, though. But if you want to, you can sort of fold them out and turn them into slipcovers. So you got your front, it's just the straight Starfield with the Force Awakens. You have your spine here, one of your spines, Blu-ray, title, Lucasfilm, no embossing or anything, no NC009 or anything. And then the other spine is going to be the same. And on the back, of course, Kylo Ren there with the blade from his character poster. Okay. Now, you may be wondering, okay, it's called a PET slipcover. What does PET stand for? I was thinking it was like protective something something or package something something. Turns out that it's just named for what it's made of, which is polyethylene terephthalate, according to Chris Roush, who helped me answer that question over on the Star Wars Home Video Facebook group run by Justin Berger. So a PET slipcover, the PET doesn't really stand for anything about the cover itself other than just what it's made of, but it's just like an extra slipcover that you get as a gift from Novamedia for purchasing their products. Personally, I don't think I'll ever use them because they've already got cool slipcovers on them. But it's a nice little bonus to have nonetheless. Just like these, right? We didn't need the little spine magnets, but they're kind of cool to have, so why not make sure that when you get them, you get the complete package and get the PET slipcover and the magnet to go with it. So are these quite as cool as the things we got with the Blue Fan set? Not really. They're kind of cool. They're neat. But they're not exclusive steelbooks. It's just the outsides and the little goodies on the inside that make all the difference. Coming soon, again, as I mentioned, we will be seeing another of the Blue Fans releases from China and another of the releases from South Korea, both for The Force Awakens. With that, though, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.